welcome to my YouTube channel. Hi family, welcome to BTM Studios with your host Boitumelo Mankuroane. Thank you so much for tuning in again to the new service. Thank you so much. You are welcome. This is your home. And to the returnees, thank you so much for joining us. And before we can start, please make sure that you hit on the subscribe button and make sure that you click on the notification bell so that whenever we upload or go live, you begin to get a notification. Today it is another day. Grab a chair, make sure that wherever you are, grab a chair and sit, because the story that I have for you, it is a story that is an eye-opener to the community. It is an eye-opener to everyone around us, everyone in South Africa, because most of the people in South Africa, we are scared, we are fearful for people who are in drugs. So today we have a gentleman that preferred to be anonymous. Is going to share with us how drugs delayed his life, how drugs affected his family, how drugs affected his life, how drugs can be harmful to our society. Welcome to our studio. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. Thank you so much for being part of us, and thank you so much for being our guest, for allowing us to talk to you. Thank you so much. Yes, I hear about drugs. I hear about the delay about drugs. Can you please tell us how old were you when you started, when you engaged in drugs?
I would say I was around about 16, 17 years old because it was actually on my last years of high school. So just there around 16, 17 years old.
So when you started drugs, were you in cigarette already, or did you just engage in drugs?
No, at that time when we started, actually, when I started, rather, already I was smoking cigarettes, and yeah, so yes.
I just have one question. Was cigarette the contribution towards you smoking, or you just had the desire? What made you to start?
I cannot say it's cigarette actually. Reason being, we were smoking with people who got involved in drugs, but they have never tasted a cigarette before in their lives. So I wouldn't say cigarette was a triggering mechanism to me getting involved in drugs. However, speaking for myself, with me, I was actually recruited by people who were already in the drug game. So, in other words, what they do, they are actually strategic, if I may put it so, because they utilize people who they think maybe they are coming from a good background at home, where they think maybe in a particular home the people are affording, the families are affording. So they actually target such kind of boys so that they know that if we target this one and get them hooked, we should be able to actually smoke by them. So they know that if I hook you, for example, then at your family is okay financially, then they should be able to actually have you to supply them with money because your family is okay. So that is how they target people, and that is actually from where I grew up. That is how most of the people who actually got involved in drugs were hooked. Hence, you find people saying, "But at your home, things are okay. Why are you smoking?" So part of the reason why it's because the people who are smoking already, they target such kind of people with such kind of background so that they can be able to milk them so that they can be able to smoke.
Okay, so you're saying most of the people who are smoking, they are from a well-being background. It's not like you are forced. It's not like maybe you are smoking because you want to sell. They recruit you because they're looking at the background that you can be maybe more of somebody that will help them to get a place to smoke, or you'll be somebody to help them to get what they want.
I believe that there are other reasons maybe that we might not know of, but part of it's the one that I just mentioned. That with me, I had no stress. Though we are when you get caught, then you come up with such excuses that no, I have stress and all that. But reality is, part of or some of, because I don't want to say those that say they are stressed and then resulting into smoking was the case. However, not all of them. Part of are being recruited, like I said, so that people can use them to smoke. If they know that in your house you get maybe a 50 bucks a day, it's a jackpot to them, because if they recruit you, they know your parents will give you 50 bucks. And as an addict, the first thing that you think about it's the drugs.
Okay, so the type, how many types of drugs that you heard? I heard that there's types of drugs.
Yeah, there's plenty of drugs. However, myself, I only got to actually smoke two. I smoked heroin, and then I smoked another drug that was called crystal rock. So in townships, heroin is your nyaupe, yes. So that is what I smoked on a daily basis. Then crystal rock was just once in a while.
So you didn't smoke weed?
I started with weed before the drugs.
So weed is not drugs.
It is, but for some of the people who are actually smoking it, they don't take it as, because to them it's a natural herb that grew from the ground. But for people who are actually not into drugs or any form of intoxication, they can classify it as a drug. Yes, so I started with weed and then upgraded then to the drugs.
Okay, and I always see people in the location where you see a drug addict. The most people that we run to when we lose something. Meaning, most of them they steal or they destroy things. Were you in that position? Did you ever steal for somebody? Can you please share with us?
As much as I was an addict, addicts do steal. I don't want to lie, they do steal because this is how it actually transpires. When that feeling comes, you can do anything at that time. In that moment, it's like there's a demon that actually comes inside of you. So you can do anything in order for you to quench that desire. So in other words, if it takes you to steal, you can steal. You can even kill and smoke in front of a dead body and then regret after you have smoked. That's how dangerous addiction is. However, just to answer your question, I never stole for someone. I mean, from someone, except that I would steal maybe money from my parents' purse and maybe in the car and all that. But I've never, by the grace of God, I've never actually got involved in breaking into someone's house or maybe mugging people, stealing their phones and all that. Yeah. So hence I am actually thanking God that it didn't even reach that part. But addicts do steal, they can mug, they can even stab you if you are even stubborn with yeah. And then I think also addictions don't treat people the same. I believe so, judging from the way things were upon this journey of addiction. Yes, so with me, I never got that far. I don't know what's the longest time people would say they were addicted, but with me, I think I was a drug user for about 6 years, if I'm not mistaken.
And you were able to come out.
Yeah, I was able to come out. Yes, no rehabilitation, nothing.
Okay, so I wanted to find out that where were you getting them? Were you buying them from the middleman, or were you buying them from the main guys who manufactures them? If they're being manufactured, where were you getting them? Where were you?
You wouldn't know the manufacturers.
Mhm.
So for us, people who used to use them, you would get them from your local suppliers. If you get to watch the Queen story in Zanzibar Magic, They know that Harriet is a drug dealer, but they never buy from her. She supplies to the local suppliers who uses their own people to sell. So same applies. So what you see, that's the reality of things. So that is what actually transpires. There are people who goes and stock them, give them to the local suppliers. Then we get them from the local suppliers.
So these local suppliers, even the communities are aware that they are there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they are aware. Most of them, they even deal with police because police would come and search and then find nothing. The reason why they actually find nothing is because already by the time they come, there are people in the police industry has already alerted them that we are coming at 9, for example, to come and search, and then yeah, just make sure you hide your things accordingly. Then when the police got there, they would raid the place, and then the community will celebrate and say, at least the police are doing something. Unknown to them that already these people have been alerted. So when the police came, they were just playing along until the police leave. So it's just a way of blindfolding the community, whereas the community on the other side, they think that police are doing something at least once in a while about them. But for people who were closer to these dealings, we knew actually what was going on.
Okay. And did your family know that you are into drugs?
Yes, they did. However, with me, they found out maybe after 3 years. I don't know, maybe it was I was not, or they were in disbelief or in denial that maybe I was actually taking them. How they found out was that things were getting missing in our house. So as they were getting missing, so they just decided, no, let's test him and see if there is nothing, then there is nothing. But we need to get to the bottom of what is actually transpiring at this moment. So that is how they caught me. They tested me, and then fortunately or unfortunately, they found that I was addicted, and the test got out and also showed exactly what I was smoking. So it showed the weed on the test and the heroin also on the test.
Can you please share with us how were you smoking it?
Yes, there's actually multiple ways of smoking. It depends on the preference that an individual prefers. With me, it was rolling with as if you are rolling a joint. Then after rolling, then you pour it in on the weed, then roll, then set it alight, then inhale the smoke until it ends into your lungs. So that is how I actually prefer to smoke. But others actually would prefer putting it on top of a foil and then set a light underneath, then get a pipe. Then the smoke that will come from setting it alight, then they inhale it. And then the last one, which was the most actually dangerous one, was the one where they use a syringe. They would take a spoon, pour it on top of the spoon, then set a light underneath until the powder turns into liquid. Then they would use the syringe to actually absorb the liquid, or to put the liquid inside the syringe, and then get maybe a rope or a rubber band, tie it on their arm so that the veins can swell. Then upon that, then they would get maybe a visible vein where they would inject the liquid that would be inside the syringe at that time. So the most danger part of it is that after injecting, then at the same time they would pull. I don't know what they call that process of pricking yourself with a syringe, then pull your blood out. So they would do that because they believed that the blood that they are pulling out still contains the drug. So they would they would re-inject the blood after a few minutes just to get a fresher satisfaction. And what was making it even more dangerous is that they would share that syringe, yes. Or even the one can steal after you pull out your blood or into the syringe. One can steal that to inject themselves with it because they believe that it contained drugs. So these were the three methods that I knew of smoking heroin. But with me, I only preferred smoking it with weed. And also the place that I grew up in, they were only using two methods, the weed one and the foil one, of which the foil one was most preferred by women who were smoking drugs, or girls. Yes, but let me say basically the females who were into drugs. So that is the methods that we were actually using to smoke.
You know, the syringe one, it sounds scary and it sounds more dangerous. But I want to find out on this one, the one where they were using a foil.
Yes.
Let's say you are smoking, you are burning it on the foil, and I pass, or maybe we are inside the same house. Will it affect me as well?
No, it will not. What it will do actually, because they just put it inside like the foil, and then bend the foil inwards for it to contain the powder, because the heroin is a powder. Then the moment you set it alight underneath, you don't need a large amount of fire. You're using a matchstick or a can lighter, whereby the moment it produces the smoke, before the smoke even spread, because once the smoke spreads, then it's a waste. So the moment it produces the smoke, then you inhale it with the pipe same time before it even. It doesn't even smell. I can smoke it in the other room without you having to smell it where you are. So that is actually how they were doing it.
And did you by any chance smoke it at home or in the house where your family was?
At home where I used to stay?
Yes.
No and yes also. The only time I could smoke is when maybe the parents went to work. Yeah, that is when I could find myself time to smoke, and not inside the house though. I would maybe go at the back of the house, then do my things, sit down there, roll my things, and then smoke. Then sit there maybe for a while. Then yeah, that is the only time I actually smoked.
Because I'm asking this, I'm thinking in my mind that maybe it was hitting you in a way that you would sit and smoke and feel like, yeah, I'm the man of the house, you know? Because whenever they speak about drugs, you get scared. You think that those people, they are harmful, even if they're not, but you get scared. And how did it affect your family?
In a multiple ways, because remember, they were not aware of what I was doing. So as a result, to them, life was still normal. When I say life was still normal, I mean there was a time where they used to give me transport money weekly, because I was not, especially in my tertiary times, I had to travel to a town in order for me to get to school. So I was actually using buses. So I would get myself a weekly ticket while things were still normal. So them thinking that I was going to school, while I stopped going to school. I actually took the whole time they were giving me money, thinking that I'm going to school, while I was not. So I think that is the first thing that actually affected them because they kept on popping out money, school fees, and all that, while I was keeping all those monies to myself to satisfy this addiction. And then also emotionally, also it has affected them because the disappointment after they found out what was going on and how long it has been going under their nose without them noticing, and all that, it can kill a parent in multiple ways. So that is, I think, those two ways that it has actually affected them. But the most that I can say it has affected them is when now when you have even it can affect a person even after you have stopped smoking, because now you have to go back and recorrect things that you need. I mean, the recorrect things that you have actually wronged. For instance, the first thing that I asked from them was that they should take me to school after quitting drugs. Now, they remember they took me to school before, and that was money. Now, asking them again mean that they will have to pop out another money to take me to school so that I can be able to build a future. So, just one addiction can actually ruin a whole lot of things. And with me, that is actually what it has affected my family.
Yes, I hear you saying there's a way you've dropped out of school. Please share with us, how did drugs affect your life?
You eventually see no need of doing things. Uh, the drugs has a level of bottling you inside them. Everything that you do, your thoughts, the way you think, the way you want to do things are actually drug based. So if you wake up, the first thing you think about, what am I going to smoke? So in other words, that thing gets programmed in your mind in such a way that you actually need to make a plan to satisfy this thing. So you eventually think going to school is not going to satisfy this addiction. So let me leave it. I'm only focusing on things that will satisfy this thing. So all that you need to do is to make sure that you are high always. So school will not going to make you high. I see no need of going to school. All the other things that are normal to others, you see no need of doing them because they are not going to satisfy this addiction that you have. So you are actually jailed inside the drugs. You are in a drug sentence, if I may put it so, because everything that you do, there are four walls like in a prison, but those four walls are of drugs. If you are actually bottled, if I may put it so. So all the other things that you wish, and it's not like you don't have desires at that time to do things. You do have them, but there is something that keeps pulling you back and say, no, you need to satisfy me. You think that, you know what, I also want to have a car, I also want to work, I also want to go to school. Then while you are still thinking of those thoughts, then this addiction spirit comes and say, no, you have forgotten me. You need to satisfy me. So all the thoughts that you would have, they will end up with this addiction telling you that, I can hear what you are saying, but you need to satisfy me. So that is actually how it can affect one's life, and that is how specifically it has affected mine.
And how long do you think it has delayed your life?
To me specifically, I think I lost 6 years of my life. So all the time that I was smoking, there is nothing that you can do. Like I said, all that, no matter the ambition that you have at that time, as long as you still smoke, it ends with that. So I'm ambitious, less ambitious, more ambitious. You still have those thoughts, you still have dreams, but as much the more you think of them, the more this thing reminds you that, no, but I hear your dreams and ambitions, but me first. So that is actually the years that I think I've lost. That I still, even today, I'm in a position where maybe most people are looking at me, they want to be like me. But me deep inside, I have that thing of saying, I've lost years and I'm still struggling to recover them even now.
I hear you. And how did you quit?
How I quit was actually a strange one. When I tell people, they don't believe me. So I had a friend that I went to high school with. Unfortunately, I can't mention his name. I went to high school with, and then we went to tertiary together, but different courses. He turned out very well, and he started working and started buying cars, and then starting having a life at a very young age. I think at about 21, 22 years of age. So, and a time came when he came and visited me, and he stirred something inside of me. I just wanted to be like him. He same age with me, but the only difference was that he was clean. He had what he wanted. I had nothing at that time. So the only thing that mattered to me was to feed an addiction that I don't know when will it come out of me. But I think it was also a visitation from God using someone to actually change my life, and I got the picture at that time. Now we are talking, and I'm asking him questions just to find out how he's doing, and all of those things. And then later on, unfortunately, he had to return to his life, so he left. And then I stayed behind and started thinking about my life, and I could become something. Yeah, I kept on convincing myself and telling myself that, you know what, I can become something. My age mates, my peers are this far in life. So this guy is my age mate, but he is 6 years ahead of me. So it became something that actually opened my eyes. And on the very same day, I remember my parents went to work. My father would get home around before 5 p.m. Same applies to my mother. So on that day, my father got home first. So at that time, we were scared of him at home and all that because of we didn't have a solid relationship because of the things that we were involved in. So he got home. I approached him. I told him, I said, no, I want to go back to school. Then he said to me, you have started now with your money milking tactics. You want money now, you are coming up with a plan to get money from us. I was like, no, this time around, I'm serious. I want to better my life. And at that time, I've smoked the morning of that day. So he could see that, but he was not sure because I was not that high and all that. But I kept on telling him that I want to go back to school. I want to go back to school. I want to go back to school. But he kept on giving me the same response. So I let it go. And I waited for my mother. You know how mothers are. I approached her. I told her, I want to better my life now. I don't want to smoke anymore. I want to go back to school, and I want to better my life. I want a better life. I want to be like other kids that work and all that, so that you can be proud of me. Then she was like, hey, you are starting again with your money and milking tactics. So I begged them. My mother changed her uniform, went to sit with my father. I begged them also on that day. They didn't give me a response. Still, they gave me that same response, and until we let it go. We went to bed. The following morning, my mother came to my room. She didn't go to work, to my surprise. She was like, no, let's go. to the bank, drive me to the bank. And then when she got there, then I'm not sure if she was doing a loan or withdrawing her savings or what, but I know she requested a large amount of money at the bank at that time. So then she told me, I'm going to send you to school, and this is the last shot you need to know. And mind you, I don't think I'll be disappointed if you fail us on this one. My disappointment data has been depleted. So I'm giving you because you asked, and you must know that if this goes wrong, you have costed me my marriage. I cannot say you've costed me my trust because already that is gone. But I'm doing this from the love of the mother. So let's go to school, let's register and see what we can do. So that is actually how I got to quit. I went back to school, no rehabilitation, no nothing. It was just a decision that I have made that I'm no longer doing this. I want to better my life. And that is actually how the last time I actually took drugs to date.
And do you perhaps crave for it, or is there anything that triggers the cravings?
Now,
Yes.
nothing at all. Like I'm certain and I'm confident that in such a way that I don't think I'll ever relapse. Reason being, I continued sitting with people who are smoking. At times I come across them. I know the smell of that thing, and remember, an addict once they hear that smell, or then it becomes a problem. With me, it's like I've never smoked before. I think I was ready to actually quit, or yeah, to actually quit. If I may put it so. So I don't think there are any form of cravings and all that. I have tested that multiple times, and there is nothing.
And did you get any help, professional help?
By professional help, you are referring to rehabilitations, counselings.
Yes.
No, I've never. Hence, I say that actually it is not professional help that actually assist you in quitting or rehabilitation. That is the second step, if I may put it so. You can take an addict and put them in rehabilitation for 10 years and cancel them every day, and then they come out on the 10th year, first day, and then they smoke. So the first step actually to quit, it's just telling yourself that I am ready to quit. I'm fed up. I'm enough. I am ready to quit. So that is actually the first step. So I've never been to a rehabilitation center myself. I've never been cancelled with regards to drug usage or drug abuse. So I think by the time I decided to quit, I was ready to quit. So when the power of being ready, it eliminates the processes of rehabilitations and counselings also. So to answer your question, I've never actually got professional help.
So this means that the first rehab is your mind.
The first rehabilitation is making a decision that I am ready. So most of the people that are in rehabilitation centers they went there because they wanted to silence. Number one, they wanted to silence the mouth of the people that are nagging them every day about what they are doing. Number two, to give parents or loved ones a break for now. And number three, they went there because someone suggested it, and they were like, oh, why not? Let me just do it. And then that is why when they come back first day, then they relapse because those people did not make a decision. So the first rehabilitation is making a decision and being ready that I am not going back. Because the more you go back, the more it gets difficult also to quit. So you are right. The first rehabilitation, it's making a decision to say, I am enough, I am okay now.
And what advice can you give to somebody who is in the situation or who have been in the situation and struggling to come out? What advice can you give to them?
I can say that drug use is a very, very, very demonic delay, if I may put it so. And the danger part of it is that while you are inside of it, you don't notice that you are actually delaying your life until you make a decision. Now, it was on the days when I stopped quitting, that when I got the chance, because I'm sober now, I'm getting the chance to look back and say, hey, but I've wasted my life. I've actually lost a lot of things. Some I cannot regain, some it takes time to regain. Fortunately, some you can regain them in a short period of time. But bottom line, drug usage is a waste of time. It's like it's more than imprisonment. Yeah, you are like you are jailed inside your own body. You cannot do anything. It's like your soul being imprisoned inside your own body, and you are many things at that time. You are a prisoner. You are a warder. You are a key holder of your own prisoner. That is yourself. So when that process goes, you are delayed. 1 year of delay can take about 10 years of recovery, or not recover at all. So that is how dangerous it is, and that is an awareness that I'm actually putting out there to the people who are considering quitting, who are drug using, and also who are not noticing what is it that they have put themselves into.
And before we can close, what advice maybe can you give to parents who are parenting addicts or guardians?
Tricky one. Um, I would say that they just need to actually give their especially most of the people, when you speak to them. Remember, when we are smoking, we would speak to one another, asking one another questions like, why are you smoking? And then others would say, hey, I need I have a father, but he's not present in my life. So some are lonely, some are okay, some went into it because of peer pressure, some were recruited, but to parents, there are children that are lonely and they are finding comfort in drugs. So we just need to give them attention. Not only boys, but boys, girls, they need attention. Find out what is going on in their lives. Find out where you can assist as a parent. I think the days of saying parents must be strict and inaccessible are old-fashioned. We need to treat our children in a manner that we are forever available, knowing that it will even give them an impression that if I do something, my father will know, my mother will know, my mother will find out, my mother knows me, my father knows me, they will find out. There are parents, there are mothers, there are fathers who are actually raising their children that they don't know. They are just there for them as providing groceries, providing a place to sleep, paying bills, paying fees, school fees, and all that. But emotionally, they don't know them. They don't know how they think. They don't know their temperaments. They don't know. So it's actually important for parents to even pay attention in those. As much as we are providers to children, let us also know their well-being, how they are emotionally, and all of that. I think in that way, I'm not saying it will not lead them there, but it will reduce the chances of them getting involved in drug usage.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate your presence. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please make sure that you do not forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and make sure that you click on the notification bell so that next time when you come in with a new episode, you get a notification. And stay tuned for another one. God bless you.